Before J.K. Rowling became one of the world's richest women, she led a modest life as a secretary in London. She was 25 years old when her mother died from multiple sclerosis, sending Jo into an emotional tailspin. Desperate to escape the pain, she moved to Portugal, married and gave birth to her first daughter, Jessica. But the marriage was, in Jo's words, short and catastrophic. She packed up her daughter, moved to Scotland, where she hit a new low. Jo was clinically depressed and struggling to survive on welfare. What did your first marriage teach you about yourself? You know, we've heard very little about it, and you haven't spoken very much about it, only that it was short-lived. I think 13 months and a day?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That's what.
You're good.
13 months and a day. What did you learn about yourself to never be repeated?
Well, I think the first and most important thing to say about that marriage is I would do it all again, step for step, to have Jessica, who is incredible, and the world's a better place for having her in it. So, you know, don't regret a thing.
Okay.
I think I repeated patterns from my first family, as we often do in my selection of, which is what my first husband, yeah, you think that you say, what did I learn? I think that it taught me, I'm proud that it taught me that I had a strong survival instinct, because when I knew that it was time to go, I left.
Did it help you to know more of who you are? Did it bring you into...
Eventually, but I can't pretend that I walked straight out of that marriage and that experience saying, you know, I feel enlightened in any way. I felt quite shell-shocked. I had a very, very tiny baby, and then I walked straight into poverty and depression. So, but in a strange way, all of that, yes, was enormously illuminating. But I did a lot of thinking after that marriage ended, primarily about me, why things had been as they had been. And it was 7 years before I met the right man. But I think it needed to be 7 years, you know, and
I was ready.
Yeah, I was really ready.
In 2001, Jo married anesthesiologist Neil Murray in a private ceremony at their home in Scotland. Today, Jo and Neil are raising their 3 children in Edinburgh.
The strange thing is, a week before I met Neil, literally a week, and I hope this gives hope to all single women out there, I remember speaking to a very good friend, and she said, well, what would you like in a man? And I said, I would need to be with someone intelligent, because I just value that. I said, I would really like him to have his own career. I thought these were really basic things, okay? Integrity was very, very important, and kindness, and a very strong sense of who he was. These were things that I would really like. And then she looked at me and she said, well, that's not going to happen. Like I asked for, you know, the earth. And
I would ask for Jesus.
Yes, exactly. And I thought, okay, yeah, maybe that's...
be Jesus.
Yeah, maybe that's not going to happen.
Were you okay with it?
I certainly wasn't crying my eyes out every night. I could have done it, but I'm glad not to have had to do it.
During the process of all of this, I understand, are you still estranged from your father?
I am, yeah.
You are?
Yeah. Yeah. That's never an easy thing to do in the public eye, but there you are. You know.
Do you think you'll ever make peace?
No, I don't. I don't. I think that it's such a huge thing to be estranged from a parent that obviously there would have to be very big reasons for that.
Do you have your reasons?
I have my reasons.
Any you want to share?
It wasn't a good relationship from my point of view for a very long time, but I had a need to please, and I kept that going for a long time. And then there just came a point at which I had to pull up and say, can't do this anymore. And yeah.
Do you regret that he can't be a part of this success? Well,
the estrangement happened post-success, so, you know, he was there for a while. If I'm totally honest with you, I regret much more that my mother never saw any of it. That's a bit of a killer. I mean, she would have just...
Would she have loved reading it?
I can honestly say I know 100% she would have adored it. Yeah, I really
know. She started writing before she.
Yeah, but I never told her about it. And I would have done. You know, I would have told her about it, and I know she would have really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was. I think it was 6 months before she died. I started writing. Yeah, and I never shared it with her. So that's.
You regret that?
Yes, hugely, hugely. But the odd thing is, and this is life, isn't it? The books wouldn't be what they are if she hadn't died. I mean, her death is on virtually every other page of the Harry Potter books, you know. But at least half of Harry's journey is a journey to deal with death in its many forms, what it does to the living, what it means to die, what survives death. It's there in every single...
What the love of your parents, the love of your parents, how that applies with you still.
Yes, exactly. So if she hadn't died, I don't think it's too strong to say there wouldn't be Harry Potter. There wouldn't, you know, the books are what they are because she died, because I loved her and she died. That's why they are what they are.
Would it also be fair to say that your life, everything in your life, because I know you went through a period of depression, and I had read that the Dementors came from that depression.
Yeah.
In Harry Potter's world, the Dementors are dark creatures who feed off human happiness, causing depression and despair to those in their path. Dementors are capable of consuming a person's soul. Would it be fair to say that you've used, in the 17-year process of writing the Potter series, that you've used the good, the bad, and the ugly of your life?
Definitely, definitely.
And expressed it through your writing, through the Potter stories.
For sure. Depression clinical depression is a terrible place to be. Terrible place to be.
So you became depressed after your mother died?
Yes, but I think it was a kind of delayed. I think I had tendencies towards depression from quite young. It became really acute when I was sort of 25 to 28. Was a dark time. It's that absence of feeling, and it's even the absence of hope that you can feel better. And it's so difficult to describe to someone who's never been there, but because it's not sadness. Sadness is, I know sadness. Sadness is not a bad thing, you know, to cry and to feel, but it's that cold absence of feeling, that really hollowed out feeling. That's what the Dementors are. And it was because of my daughter that I went and got help.